The equipment maintenance webinar will cover how to update your organization's equipment maintenance, how to create and assign maintenance schedules to equipment, and how to manage your equipment's maintenance overall. Before we talk about maintenance in particular, I just want to cover a little bit as to why you should have your equipment in CBRNResponder to begin with. CBRNResponder is a free database to keep track of your equipment inventory, maintenance schedules, availability. If you have a CBRNResponder account, your organization can utilize the equipment functionality. It helps ensure data quality when measurements are associated with radiological and chemical equipment. You can also assign equipment to field teams and individual responders so they can more easily find and select your equipment. And by doing so, data collectors can then select their equipment to pare down the list of available units to lessen the chance of human error when collecting measurements. So in summary, by putting your inventory of equipment in CBRNResponder, you can then associate it with collected data via the mobile app or the website for better data quality. There are several different ways you can put your equipment into CBRNResponder. You can enter those pieces of equipment individually. You can copy from an existing piece of equipment, and you can use pre-existing templates for common pieces of equipment. And probably the most common form is to bulk upload your equipment. We won't cover how to upload equipment in today's webinar, but we do have job aids and videos on how to do so in the resource library. So once you have your equipment in CBRNResponder, it's just as important to make sure that your equipment is updated. And so you can see here on the screenshot that even though an organization has equipment in CBRNResponder, if the maintenance is out of date with those overdue tags, it's hard for those data assessors and those who are reviewing the data to know how accurate or reliable the data is coming in that's associated with that piece of equipment. In order to upload and update your equipment, you do need to have at least the equipment manager role. The admin and planner role will also work. But if you aren't seeing some of the functionalities we're going to cover today, it's probably because you don't at least have that equipment manager role. We'll start by going over the equipment maintenance schedules and what they are. The ability to assign multiple maintenance schedules for a single piece of equipment is relatively new. Before we implemented this new feature, you could only have one type of maintenance and it wasn't definable in terms of the type. You could just say your equipment was updated or calibrated and that was it. But now you can have multiple schedules for a single piece of equipment. If you did have a schedule assigned to equipment before this update, that maintenance schedule by default will be named original, which you can see here in my screenshot. If the maintenance schedule you set up for that equipment was all you needed, then you're good to go and you can just leave it as is. However, if you do perform different types of maintenance on equipment, you can add multiple maintenance schedules. And so from here, I am in the equipment details page and under the maintenance schedules tab, I will just click add. And this is where I can define a custom name for my new maintenance schedule. I'll choose the type. So if it's an op check, calibration, firmware upgrade, the schedule. So how frequently does this piece of equipment need to be updated or maintained? And when the first maintenance of that schedule is due. Once you save your new maintenance schedule, you can see now that both of those schedules appear under the equipment maintenance schedule section in that single piece of equipment's details page. You can also add equipment maintenance schedules in bulk. While you can add them individually, like I just showed you, if you have several pieces of equipment that need additional maintenance schedules, it's going to make a lot more sense for you to do this in bulk, especially if you have hundreds or dozens pieces of equipment. From your equipment page in your organization space, you will click that Import Equipment button. And then from here, you'll be brought to this radiological or chemical equipment import, depending on which hazard type you're working with. And you'll click Download Organization Equipment. This will direct you to an Excel spreadsheet. And once you open it, you will see all of your organization's equipment listed out in our template. You'll navigate to the maintenance schedule sheet, which is highlighted here. And this is where you're going to add or update your equipment maintenance schedules. So this is not where you're updating your equipment maintenance. This is just for you to define what schedules are for the equipment itself. And from here, you can also associate schedules to equipment that already exist in the system or ones that are included in the equipment sheet. You can always navigate to the data dictionary and the allowed values sheets within the template, and this will tell you what to put in each column. To add a new maintenance schedule, you'll need to enter the name. This is a unique field. You can enter whatever you would like as to how you would like to differentiate your maintenance schedules. The maintenance type, the maintenance schedule, and these can be found in the allowed values tab. When the first maintenance is due, and if this is a new schedule, you will put new under upload type. Next, you will then enter the equipment serial number that this maintenance schedule applies to. If multiple pieces of equipment should follow this schedule, just copy and paste the rows in the Excel spreadsheet and then edit the serial number in column B, which you can see highlighted in blue here. You'll save that spreadsheet to your computer and then upload it back into CBRNResponder from that import page that we were just at. You'll click upload and then you will get a equipment import results page, and it will let you know that your import was successful, and you'll see a summary of what was changed here. Just for posterity, if you want to ensure that that new schedule was added, you can always open up the equipment details page of any of the serial numbers where you added a schedule, and you will then see the new maintenance schedule that was just created. Also want to show you how you can update your existing equipment maintenance schedules individually and in bulk. If you need to update the details of a maintenance schedule, whether that be the name, the type, the schedule, anything about it, you can do this individually or in bulk, like I mentioned earlier. To update it individually, you'll just go to that equipment details page and expand the maintenance schedule section to see all of the maintenance schedules applied to that piece of equipment. You'll then identify the schedule that you would like to update and click that blue magnifying glass icon next to it. And then you'll be brought to the details and then click edit. And this is where you can update any of the parameters and click Save Changes to apply those changes. This is also where you can change the default original schedule name if you would like to define it more clearly, especially if you have multiple schedules for a single piece of equipment. And if you need to update multiple schedules, it's best to do this in bulk. So you'll follow the same steps to download your current equipment details and then navigate to the maintenance schedule sheet again. So for this example, I updated the maintenance schedule name and the schedule frequency, which I have highlighted. And for upload type, you need to indicate that it was updated by entering update in column H. You'll save it to your computer and upload it back into CBRNResponder, and you will then see the upload type here. And so this just tells the system that it needs to update the current record instead of creating a new one like we did earlier. So now that your schedules are in place, whether you uploaded it individually or in bulk, now you need to apply those maintenance that have gone through that were successful to those actual pieces of equipment. Once your maintenance schedules are uploaded and associated with their respective pieces of equipment, you're now set up to maintain your equipment maintenance in CBRNResponder. And this is going to sound familiar, but you can update your equipment in bulk or individually. After a piece of equipment has been maintained or serviced, you should open up the details of that piece of equipment. I'll scroll down to the maintenance section, and I can expand it if I want to see the history of maintenance performed on that piece of equipment. This piece of equipment does not have any maintenance records, and so I'm going to add one by clicking that Add button. I could also expand the maintenance schedule section of my equipment details page and then open up the details of the schedule that I just performed, and I could click Add that way as well. Either way, I will be brought to the Create Maintenance Record page, and this is where I'll enter the date of the piece of equipment that received maintenance, who oversaw or verified the maintenance, which maintenance schedule was updated if I did not go through the maintenance schedule page, and the result. So was it successful or not? For maintenance schedule, if you go through the regular process like I showed first by just going to the maintenance tab and expanding it and clicking add, you do need to choose which maintenance schedule you're applying the maintenance to. And so you'll see all of your maintenance schedules that you have for that piece of equipment, and you will also see an ad hoc maintenance option. And so this is to only be used if the maintenance does not apply to any of your current schedules, and it will not update your maintenance coming due. And so what this means is if you have a calibration due, let's say last week, but you enter an ad hoc maintenance, it will not say that your calibration has been completed because you did not select calibration as the maintenance schedule. So once you select the pertinent maintenance schedule, you can enter a comment or attach any corresponding files to the maintenance record. Click Save Changes to apply the maintenance, and you can now see here that it was successful. I'm still in my equipment details page, and if I navigate to the maintenance schedule section, this is where I can see that the yearly op check was updated, which you can see outlined in blue. And I will also see that the next maintenance due date will display the next maintenance schedule due. Equipment maintenance that comes up next is the yearly firmware, which is on May 1st, which you can see outlined in orange. This piece of equipment is now up to date until May 1st, and then once the yearly firmware maintenance has been successful, then the next maintenance will be the yearly op check. So this will update. You can also see that this page will also show you the last maintenance type that was completed and that date. Now I want to show you how you can update your equipment maintenance records in bulk. Again, if you need to enter and update multiple equipment records, it's best to do this in bulk. There is a separate import template that you will use to update maintenance records. You will be clicking Import Maintenance from the equipment page. A quick note, as of today, the Import Maintenance and Import Equipment buttons are separate. This will be combined in a future release to consolidate the buttons, and so it will look something more like this, where you'll expand the import button and then you can choose if you're importing your equipment or if you're importing maintenance, and so you'll just click Import Maintenance. From the equipment maintenance import page, you will select Download Template File with Instructions, and then you will be brought to the Excel spreadsheet template, which you can see on the right-hand side of my screen. Again, you'll reference the data dictionary in the Allowed Values tab to see what's acceptable for each column. We strongly recommend that you copy and paste the equipment cell from the allowed value sheet into the equipment maintenance sheet. So that way you don't have any typos and you're entering it exactly as RadResponder or ChemResponder wants it to be entered. So on the left-hand side of my screenshot, I'm in the Allowed Values tab. I have highlighted the 3 pieces of equipment that I am updating maintenance for. So I just copied and pasted those cells in column A and then pasted them back into the equipment maintenance sheet. You'll enter the remaining columns for maintenance type, whether the maintenance was successful, who performed and verified the maintenance schedule name, and the service date. Again, all of these columns for you to know what is acceptable can be found in the data dictionary and the allowed values tab. Then you'll save that spreadsheet to your computer, return back to CBRNResponder, and import the maintenance file. And if it is successful, you will see a successful message saying that the import has been completed. For posterity, I will go to one of the equipment records page where I updated the maintenance, and I'll be able to see that it was last maintained on March 12th, 2021, and it was successful, which you can see highlighted in both tabs in orange. We have equipment maintenance reports, which are meant to be sent out to help you ensure that your equipment is as up to date as possible and send you reminders if they are not. And so these are meant to provide organizations with an overview on which pieces of equipment are coming due and are overdue on maintenance. Only equipment managers will receive equipment maintenance reports at their set frequency. You can, however, download these reports ad hoc via the equipment page. This is an example of an equipment maintenance report. So it will show you and list out the pieces of equipment that are overdue on maintenance, which is in blue. Any pieces of equipment that are due today, coming due in the next 7 days, coming due in the next 30 days, and maintenance that are coming due in more than 30 days. If you are an equipment manager, you'll receive these reports via email. You can navigate to your profile in CBRNResponder and open up notifications. And then you'll select Configure Notification Settings. When you scroll down, you'll be able to set the frequency of when you want to receive these reports. Just note that the equipment maintenance frequency cannot be shorter than equipment maintenance due frequency, and so you will select your preferences here. You'll receive your equipment maintenance report monthly as long as you don't have any equipment that are overdue, and if you do have equipment overdue, you'll receive that report weekly. So you can, of course, customize these frequencies to best suit your needs. Please note that if no one has the equipment manager role in your organization, then no one will receive these reports. And you'll know that you don't have any equipment managers because if you navigate to your equipment page, you'll see a warning message here letting you know that you don't have anyone who has the equipment manager role. But like I mentioned, you can always download the maintenance report ad hoc from the equipment page. So you'll just click Download Maintenance Report and you'll receive that same report that you would have received via email. Lastly, as we wrap up the Equipment Maintenance Special Feature webinar, I'll show you how you can visually see when you have equipment coming due and how you can best utilize the features that are already in CBRNResponder to do so. So again, not only can you use the equipment maintenance reports to manage and track when your equipment is coming due, but you can also navigate to the organization dashboard from your organization space, and the equipment data tables page will show you a summary of what's coming due and overdue. And so this is that organization dashboard, and it will show you equipment that are coming due or are overdue. So right from that dashboard page, as soon as I enter the organization space, I can see that I have 5 pieces of equipment that are overdue. If I want a more comprehensive list and be able to sort them out, I can go to my equipment page. I can sort the columns to see when the next maintenance for each piece of equipment is due or when the last maintenance was performed. I can also expand the equipment filters and for maintenance status, choose if it is overdue, coming due in 7 days or less, or coming due in 30 days or less. And this will really help you determine how you want to maintain your pieces of equipment in CBRNResponder. It's important for you to define an equipment manager. So that's all I have on equipment maintenance. The slides for today's webinar and the recording will be available in the resource library and on YouTube. We also have job aids on equipment and equipment maintenance in the resource library that you can download as well. If you have any questions, whether it's about equipment maintenance or anything related to CBRNResponder, you can always email us at support@cburnresponder.net or visit our resource library.